Hey everybody, how you doing? You ever wonder, or maybe some of you have even taken these sort of self-help classes or seminars, maybe a Tony Robbins thing, right? I'm always fascinated by these things. I think most of the time their intent is good. And I wonder about the people who go to them. I think their intent is good as well. What drives people to these things? Self-improvement, maybe getting off a path of self-destruction or self-sabotage, maybe trying to be more focused. It's a realization, I think, that their lives are not what they should be or that they can improve. And they're drawn to these things. But in reality, what are these things? These things are the equivalent of system fairies. You know, a lot of people, even when they come to my service, right? They hear about MMT. They're intrigued about MMT. They hear me talk, perhaps, talking about how MMT is the true and concise understanding of the monetary system. Sorry, excuse me. They hear me talk about how MMT is the true and concise understanding of the monetary system. And they think, wow, with that information, with that knowledge, I can finally become successful as a trader if I really understand how the monetary system functions and how policy affects the macroeconomy. And when I start to see, and that's the thing, when they start to learn a little bit about MMT and they become enlightened and they see how the vast majority of market participants don't understand the monetary system or have bought into a flawed understanding, a flawed belief system, then these people think to themselves, wow, MMT is my answer. Once I have this understanding of how the monetary system functions, I will be able to make profits nonstop. And they hear me talk about how, I don't lose and how losing is a choice and winning is a choice, and all of the above is true. But in reality, they are coming to me from the standpoint of still on that search for the system fairy. And when they get into it and when they, I guess, get involved with my services and it starts to work and they are lured in even that much more so, this is fantastic. This is unbelievable. I have the proper understanding of the monetary system. I know how policy affects the macroeconomy. I can make trades. I win every single time. Mike's approach is unbeatable. It is amazing. Why didn't I find this earlier in my life? This is the key that will unlock my true potential. This will put me on the road to achieving my goals as never before. I have finally found it. I am liberated. I am on my way. And then what happens? Then what happens? They run into some adversity. Things don't go immediately as they had planned. Times get tough. They get challenging. It becomes stressful, maybe even painful, emotionally painful. And then what happens? The fight or flight response kicks in. And it's the flight response every single time. They quit, they leave, they become dejected and downcast. There must be a better way. That way was no good. MMT's no good. Yeah, it's good for understanding the macroeconomy, but it's no good for trading. I can't wait around. I can't wait around. There's another method. There's a better method. Mike, you can improve on the MMT. Why don't you include stop losses? Why don't you look at charts? It starts to happen. So again, these people get caught up in the same pattern of self-destructive and self-sabotaging behavior that they have been in for their whole entire lives. And why is that? Why is that? Now, none of these people I can assure you, or at least, all right, let me be fair. Very, very, very few, very small numbers of these people, and I could say that just out of experience. I know the people, not just who have stayed with me out of sheer stubbornness, but who have evolved to the point of coming to the true understanding of not the markets or trading, the true understanding of their lives, of what it is. What is that key ingredient? And that is the ability to face and grind through adversity when the times get tough, the tough get going, not making excuses, not looking for, yeah, it's that other way. Because I'll tell you something, in that other way, the same thing is going to happen. And we can extrapolate this, as if you haven't already guessed, as to what I am doing here. We can extrapolate this out to life itself. We can extrapolate this right back to the lead in to this video that I'm making, where I started talking about these self-help things and why. I'm not going to mock them. I'm not going to denigrate them. I'm not going to say they're bad. I said in the beginning that I think the people who conduct these things have good intentions in their hearts. But it doesn't matter how many of these self-help things you go to. These are all kind of, in their own right, system fairies, right? That you're going to go to something. You're going to go to a Tony Robbins seminar, and he's going to say something. He's going to say that one thing, or he's going to give you a list of things, 3-4 things you got to do, and that is going to change your entire life. As long as you listen to that one thing that he says, or follow the 5 magic steps or the 12 magic steps, right? Look, people who are alcoholics, you go to Alcoholics Anonymous, they have a 12-step program. They show you, this is what you have to do. But the struggle never goes away. These people have to face that. And talk to anyone who is an alcoholic. No matter how long they have been sober, they will tell you that they still have to get through each and every day. It is a struggle. And those who maintain their sobriety have to fight that fight every single day. It never goes away. It never goes away. Even with the 12 steps. The 12 steps is a hook. It was something to bring people in, to say, look, we got a program, we got a plan. Same like me. I got a program, I got a plan. Same like Chartists or anybody else. People come to me, why? Oh, the thing that I was on before, it didn't work. Or I was with this guy, it didn't work. Well, my charts, it was working for a while, it didn't work. Or I was doing options and that was working for a while, it didn't work. They all don't work? They all don't work? What is the common denominator in all these things? It is the you factor. I can guarantee you that anyone who has achieved any level of success will tell you that the fight never ends. It's all about facing the adversity and rising above that. It's all about putting yourself into the hardest, most trying, most difficult, most gut-wrenching, most stressful situation that you can possibly handle, and pushing yourself through that. Because you want to know something? That hardship, that adversity, that pain, it doesn't last forever. Things change, markets change, you're in a bad position, you want to cut and run. You talk yourself into a false reality that taking a loss is the path to making you a success. So what do? You lose, you choose to lose, you cut and run. Why? Why do people cut and run? What is the whole concept behind stop losses? The whole concept behind stop losses is not being able to endure the pain. I got to tell you something. In his whole dollar move that has been against me, because I continue to sell dollar rallies, in this little tiny pullback in the dollar that has happened in the past few days, I am way above, profit-wise, where I was in March. Way above, profit-wise, as I was in March. I never got out of the position. Added to the position. You cut and run, it's the flight response. And when you do that over and over again, it establishes a pattern of behavior. Let's call it a habit. And to justify that habit, to rationalize that habit, you talk yourself into believing that that is the correct and proper response. That flight response is the correct and proper response, when in actuality, the correct and proper response is to slug it out, is to embrace that. That's going to happen to you all throughout life. You're going to run into hardships. You're going to run into difficulty. You're going to run into stressful situations. You're going to run into pain. And every time you run away, you go nowhere, or worse, you go backwards. Only those who can stick it out and tell themselves that this is only temporary. The sun will come up tomorrow. You can bet your bottom dollar that the sun will come up tomorrow. How does that song go? That's the thing you have to think about. Oh, I can't wait. I don't want to wait. How long do we have to wait? There's a better way. I'm going to stop myself out prudently. All that's a fallacy. All that is thinking that continues to put you on the path to nowhere, leading you to nowhere. I guarantee you 1,000% that those who came to me and quit and are out there searching for that other way, that system fairy, who choose flight as opposed to fight. I told you, this takes a warrior mentality. Those people are not going to find their path. At best, they will find a mediocre and very unsatisfying path that will eventually cause them to just hang it up. It's not going to interest them. They will not find their path. That is clear. That is without question. You got to put yourself into the utmost uncomfortable situation that you can possibly imagine, and you have to say to yourself, this is what it's going to be like. But it's okay, because it's not permanent. The pain is not permanent. The stress is not permanent. The emotional, gut-wrenching experience is not permanent. For 5 months, I woke up every morning looking at my position, sweating. I had to go run 5-10 miles or go to the gym 4 o'clock in the morning. It's not like that now. It ended. That's not to say it won't come back, but you want to know something? I fight through it. I fight through it every single time. So that's what it's all about, folks. That's what it's all about. There's no magic. There's no magic. The sooner you get that through your heads, the better. Everyone has the ability to fight. It's what your choice is. You can fight or you can run. And running is quitting. You achieve nothing.